All right, guys, so I have a leak on the magneto side of the motor behind the flywheel. This is not a how-to video, but hopefully it'll help some of you guys out. The first thing I'm gonna do is take a few bolts out of the case here. I think there's 4, one here, here, and right here. And then that will pull out and it will, show your magneto and your flywheel and stuff. I'm gonna try and have this set up and so I can fast forward and you guys can kind of see the process. But yeah, wish me luck. I've done this once before and it lasted about another 100 miles. I guess this is actually a very big problem on these Vaders. Another reason for me to get a 190. But here we go. Can you see the top of my hand? All right, you should be able to see everything here. Always good to have a shitty old shirt or a nasty rag for jobs like this. Now, all the bolts are out. This is still going to be stuck on there very good because it's magnetized. You just got to pull on it. That's all there is to it. Sometimes it's harder than others. I've just recently had this off, so mine was fairly easy. And you see all the oil dripping out of there? There should not be any oil on this side. Period. So that right there kind of shows you my problem. This is what we're taking off. Your magneto is actually in here. You can see that, hopefully. This is the flywheel. This is a bitch. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not that it's a hard job, it's just that it's hard to get off of here, if that makes sense. So these 3 bolts here, ignore them. You do not need to take those off. The first thing you're gonna take off is this big nut right here. Now, if you've never taken it off before, it is very hard to get off. I needed a very big breaker bar to get this off. You also need to position your flywheel in a position where you can wedge something. They make special tools to hold your flywheel. I don't have one. I'm gonna use vice grips. I'm not recommending you use vice grips because if you scratch, okay, now despite what people are gonna tell you, if you scratch this thing up a little bit, it's gonna work just fine. If you put big gashes in it, not so much, but a few scratches here and there. You can see last time where I had it clamped, there's some gashes. That's fine, trust me. But let's just go ahead and take it off of here. Like I said, I am no way, shape, or form suggesting you use vice grips. I'm just doing it because, honestly, I don't care. At this point, this bike's giving me nothing but trouble. Now, last time I had to get a huge breaker bar. I'm hoping I can do it with the small guy today. Oh, we did it. Now, they make a special tool that threads on right here, all right? And then you get a wrench and you tighten it down and you keep twisting, and what it does is it pushes backwards against the flywheel and pops it off of there. This isn't possible to get off by hand unless you're, Hercules. Mine's stripped out. You probably can't tell on video, but these are totally stripped. I put so much pressure on it trying to get it off of here, totally stripped it out. So what I have to use, so what I've been using is this pulley puller. It works, but you have to be patient because the claws, you have to adjust the claw at almost every single turn until you get a decent amount of pressure on there. Now, I'm gonna do this for you guys. Do not sit directly in front of it because it can pull off of there quite quickly. I'm also going to suggest that you do this in a building, a house, someplace with a nice floor. Do not do it in grass because there are pins in this, I'll show you when we get it off, that they'll pop out, and if you lose them, you're gonna have to buy new ones, and you don't wanna do that. I did all of that just for it to pop off so easily. A couple of the pins did pop out, so that's good. I can show you guys that. All right, so every single one of my pins actually fell out, which sucks, I'm not gonna lie. So where these goes, which is gonna be a bitch, I might actually have to take this apart. If you take these 3 bolts out, you don't normally need to do this. This back will come off, and it's easier to get to the springs and stuff. Not something I want to do, but I might have to. Anyways, there's a spring right in here. Can't see because it's getting kind of dark, but you'll know it, trust me. In this spring, this one sits inside the spring in that opening. The spring goes in down that, you push it back, and then this goes in there this direction. It's not long ways like this. Goes in this direction and pushes in, and they kind of just sit snug in there together. And every time you take one of these off, at least one of those pop out. I got lucky, and all 3 of mine came out. Alright guys, so unfortunately, I did have to take those bolts out. I said they just come out from this side, and it lets you lift this up. Again, this is not something you normally have to do, but here, you can get a better view of the springs. Just do exactly what I said, pull that spring back, slide this cylinder in the spring. I'll try to show you a finished product before I put it back on. It's hard to do with one hand. Like I said, it's not a how-to video. I'm just hoping it helps you out. So that's what it looks like when you just have the first cylinder on. That's just it sitting inside the spring. And then that's what it looks like when you have both of them in there. There are little holes back where these springs are that the first little cylinder will slide back into slightly. And then just do that the whole way around and put it back together. And then when everything's back together, it should look like that. You can see the pins resting in there. Again, if you guys are careful, you don't, I didn't have to do this last time. I lost 1 pin. I was able to get it back in there with a screwdriver. It wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, let's do the fun part. The worst part about the snap ring, which I think I drilled mine out last time, it's so tiny. And my snap ring pliers are for bigger things. And I'm not sure which one I used last time, because this has to fit in just freaking perfectly. And dear God, is it annoying. There. The holes on that thing are tiny, and I drilled it out a little bit too. I can't drill it out too much because I don't want to break it, obviously, but they do just not want to stay in here. It's really hard to get back on, so stay tuned for that one. Now, if you guys have smaller snap ring pliers, no problem. There's nothing wrong with the snap ring. My pliers are just too big for this job. That's all. But this should just slide out. I like trying to keep it together because why wouldn't you? You know, why would I want to put the shit all the way, you know, the chain and stuff back on? And I can just lay it there. Okay, now. This is what's leaking. It pushes itself out, which it has. I'm actually not even sure I can get it off of here. Very not good. I have terrible luck with this seal puller, but hopefully it works because it is in there not well. Yes. Did it? No. This is all one seal. This isn't 2 separate seals. This is a seal. This is the same seal. So I did get one that was too tight. I did that on purpose. I was thinking, hey, if it's a little tighter, then, you know, it won't leak. Well, it didn't leak for 100 miles until it shredded it. So maybe don't get one that's too tight. Let me go get my other seal and we will be right back to fix this. All right, got the new seal. I am gonna dip it. Actually, you know what? I read something online. You know it's never good when it starts out with I read something online, right? I read something online about guys putting just a little bit of Loctite in here. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, don't do that. But me? Fuck yes, do that. These seals are super cheap. That's not the problem. The problem for me is I just don't want to fucking do this every time. It's a pain in the ass. It really is. Okay. See exactly where this lines up here. Around the edges there. So what I'm gonna do is just put a little bit. I'm not telling you to do this. In fact, I'm telling you don't do this. But I've read on China riders. Oh shit. And those guys are pretty smart. Of people doing this, letting it sit. Just with the blue Loctite, not with the red. And that it keeps the seal tight in there. Is it gonna work? Probably not. Do I hope that it works? Fuck yes, I hope it works. But with blue Loctite, not that big a deal. Again, don't do it. Do not do it. I'm not recommending you do this. One little bit. Okay. There is another seal, by the way. The other seal is on the back of this. I was trying to figure out that gap. This here covers that. So, and it's still in great condition. Now you just kind of work this seal on here. I'm gonna put the flashlight down, that way I can do it better. Okay, it's on there. So the downward part of this bar will be to the right of this little notch here. And I normally say things don't have to be perfect, but this does have to be pretty close. My least favorite part, that retaining clip, is on there. So, in theory, the bike is actually fixed right now, and all I have to do is put the magneto back on, which is slightly easier than taking it off. Carefully, so you don't pull out any of them pins. Because you don't want to do that. Your bolt. Put that little sucker back on. That's actually really tight. I'm gonna fast forward through this, guys. Now, you just put the case back on and test it. All right, so in theory, it should be fine. Don't worry, before this video is over, I will come back either later tonight, because it's still pretty early. It's only 6, even though it's totally dark outside. Winter sucks. So I might come back in a few hours and start it, let it run. That way you guys know it's actually fixed. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and charge the battery, and I'll see you guys when it's running. If bike has given me nothing but issues, but it's so fun when it's riding. Like, to be honest with you guys, I actually have more fun on this than the Hawk. Not off-road, obviously, but this is a good bike. Anyway, I'm not getting into a review, but future plans for this bike, 190, maybe a 212. I know they have you can get a 190, and then you can get a big bore kit to make it a 212. But they actually are selling the 212 kits already on the 190, so you'd still just bolt it on and already be a 212. But from what I've heard, the 190 beats the Hawks on these little guys, so I might just go with the 190. I don't need to go. Honestly, I want to get 70 on this thing. Above that, these wheels are tiny, guys. Like, I don't need to be going faster than 70. But if I get 70, I'll be happy. But thanks for watching. Battery was definitely low, so I decided to charge her up before I even attempt to start it. It idles. I did tune the carb. It's still iffy. I think it's just the air fuel mixture screw, not the idle screw. There's a different one, the air fuel mixture screw. Because I did change my jets around and it runs way better.
I gotta take the carburetor off every time to play with that screw though, is a sad thing. I'm gonna try turn it in a half a turn, see if that helps. But no oil leak. So thank you guys for watching. Oh yeah, listen to the pop. I said next things for this is probably a 190 and obviously exhaust. I'm thinking about doing a big bore kit for this instead. It'll make it a 141 and an exhaust and calling it a day. We'll see what happens. But none of this is happening until next riding season.